Good evening, it's 8 o'clock. The top headlines tonight. Smirking and unrepentant. The man accused of killing a 15-year-old, accused Shahrukh, smiles as he's arrested for murder. In this Jharkhand horror, a schoolgirl is set ablaze at her home. She's just 15. The BJP protest, the chief minister says there must be a fast-track hearing, orders compensation. A politically powerful Seer in Karnataka is accused of raping schoolgirls. Ex-Chief Minister, the BJP's Yediyurappa backs Seer. The Congress is silent after Rahul Gandhi had met the Seer just last month. He's accused of raping minor schoolgirls, says a conspiracy. This Lingayat Seer, a key political power centre before the elections. The Ambani Gen Next in Geo, Retail and New Energy. Mukesh Ambani at Reliance AGM says that his daughter Isha will be heading retail. Anand Ambani in New Energy and Akash already heading Geo. The 5G rollout in cities across India by October this year, says Mukesh Ambani. Sonia Gandhi ignored what Rahul Gandhi is doing to the political party in the Congress, says Ghulam Nabi Azad, because all mothers have a weakness for their children. Also rules out any deal with the BJP. A confidence vote in the Delhi Assembly versus fresh scam versus scam charges between the AAP versus the BJP. In the run-up to 2024, the battle lines are drawn in Delhi. Singapore announces long-term work visas for the first time. The new visa rules to attract foreign workers. And the Vande Bharat bullet train closer to reality as it clears its latest speed trial. Our lead story tonight is a tragic one, a reminder yet again of how unsafe it is to be a young woman in India. In the latest horrific incident in Jharkhand, a 15-year-old schoolgirl was murdered. She was set ablaze at her house at 4 a.m. She survived to give a dying statement on video to the magistrate, but then tragically passed away. What's even more shocking is the accused Shahrukh was smiling, smirking, unrepentant as he was arrested for murder.
No remorse after brutally killing a 15-year-old girl, a class 12 student. In her dying declaration, she named Shahrukh Hussain, aged 22 according to the police.
नाम क्या है उनका? शाहरुख। और उसके साथ एक लड़का जो है? हाँ, छोटू।
Shahrukh, whose background the police are investigating, appeared to be smirking after his arrest. The motive? The girl refused his proposal. The chief minister says he will be punished at the earliest and announced a 10 lakh rupee compensation as well as fast-track court and a senior police officer overseeing the probe.
ऐसे घटनाओं के लिए समाज में कोई जगह नहीं। इससे भी हृदय विदारक घटनाएं सुनने को मिलती हैं। ऐसे लोगों को तो कभी माफी नहीं करना चाहिए। इनको तो कड़ी से कड़ी सजा देनी चाहिए।
The victim described the attack before a magistrate, a statement that is now the strongest evidence against the accused. She died on Sunday, 5 days after the attack.
फांसी में मेरे लिए कम है। मेरी बेटी तड़प के मरी है। गोदी में रिम्स हॉस्पिटल में तड़प के मरी है। कसम खा गई पापा उसको बचाने वाली कसम पापा उसको छोड़िएगा नहीं।
The police arrested him within hours and he has been booked for murder along with his aide. As right-wing groups and political parties got involved, the police imposed prohibitory orders to prevent further tension in the area. The BJP is accusing the government of lack of empathy, as Hemant Soren's brother Basant Soren, the local MLA, hasn't visited the victim's family.
दुमका एक ऐसी जगह है जहां से माननीय शिबू सोरेन बने, हेमंत सोरेन जी वहां से विधायक बने। आज भी उनका भाई बसंत सोरेन जो है वहां का विधायक है। हम ये दिखाना चाहते हैं कि राइट ऑफ इक्वलिटी है। आम जनता हो, मुख्यमंत्री हो, मंत्री हो, सब बराबर है। लेकिन दुमका में हम एयर एम्बुलेंस नहीं ला पाते हैं।
Given that the victim and the accused belong to different communities, the horrible incident in Dumka of Jharkhand has unfortunately become political, with polarizing statements being made. But the focus will have to remain on the plight of the victim and the pain the family is going through for justice to be done in this case. With Haribansh Sharma in Ranchi, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
Just 15, a schoolgirl in class 12, her life brutally taken away from her. And from Karnataka, a politically powerful Lingayat Seer who heads a prominent mutt has been detained. He was then released and questioned over charges that he sexually abused high school girls. The BJP's Yedurappa has backed the Seer and said that these charges are a conspiracy. That's what the Seer also said today. Now remember, this is the same person who Rahul Gandhi met last month in Karnataka and was inducted into the Lingayat sect by him. The Congress is remaining strategically silent given that elections in Karnataka are coming up soon and the Lingayat vote bank is a crucial one.
One of Karnataka's most influential religious heads appears on the balcony of his monastery in Chitradurga, about 5 hours northwest of Bengaluru. Charged with sexually abusing minors, Dr. Shivmurthy Sharanaru, the head of a powerful Lingayat mutt, told those gathered below that the charges are a conspiracy.
ಬಂದಿರುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಸಂದರ್ಭವನ್ನು ನಾವುಗಳು ಅದರಿಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬಂದೇ ಬರ್ತೀವಿ ಅನ್ನುವಂತ ಒಂದು ವಿಶ್ವಾಸ.
The charges though are serious. These young women brought today to the Muruga Mutt for spot verification in Chitradurga say that the religious leader sexually assaulted them for a period of over 3.5 years while they were living in the hostel of the mutt. Earlier this month, they approached an NGO who helped them file a complaint. Just last month, Dr. Shivmurthy had initiated Rahul Gandhi into the Lingayat sect, an indication of the Seer's cross-sectional political clout. The challenge is greatest for the ruling BJP, given its reliance on the Lingayat vote. B.S. Yedurappa, BJP leader and a Lingayat strongman, sprang to the Seer's defense even before the probe has kicked off. Chief Minister Basraj Bommai, however, said the probe will be fair. According to IPC and CRPC, Dr. Shivmurthy Sharanaru should have been arrested by 28th of August by 5 p.m. and produced before the court. But for the ruling dispensation, stakes are very high because Karnataka is just 7 months to elections and also nobody wants to risk this one major vote bank. In Bengaluru, with camera person Kumar, Srija for NDTV.
Politics even with charges of rape, but let's just look at the other big headline tonight. Well, the AGM today of Reliance Industries and Mukesh Ambani addressing it seems to have a clear plan laid out for Gen Next of the Ambanis, divided between Jio, retail and new energy. Mukesh Ambani said today his daughter Isha Ambani will be heading retail and that the youngest son Anand Ambani is already focusing on new energy. He added that 5G rollout by Jio will happen in major cities across India by this Diwali.
I welcome all of you to the 45th annual general meeting of the company.
The hint of a succession plan from Mukesh Ambani at this meeting of Reliance Industries in Mumbai, the company's 45th annual meeting.
India can lead the world.
We welcomed 500.
Mr. Ambani's daughter, Isha, was introduced as the head of the Reliance Group's retail business.
Impact and plans.
The announcement follows the appointment of Mr. Ambani's son, Akash, as chairman of the telecom unit, Reliance Jio, in June this year. Ambani also announced his youngest son, Anand, as the new energy business leader.
Akash and Isha have assumed leadership roles in Jio and retail. They have been passionately involved in our consumer business since its inception. Anand has also joined in our new energy business with great zeal. For the past year,
Mukesh Ambani also announced a massive 2 lakh crore rupee push for what he called the fastest ever 5G rollout in the country.
Using 5G technology, we have committed a total investment of 2 lakh crore rupees. Jio has prepared an ambitious and the fastest ever 5G rollout plan. By Diwali of 2022. We will launch Jio 5G across multiple key cities, including the metro cities of Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai and Calcutta.
There was no word though on prices for 5G services just yet, something that will be clearly awaited by customers. Sakshi Bajaj for NDTV.
Real-time applications like cloud gaming.
Well, a quick look at the markets. So from global to Indian, a major decline after the Fed chair's rate hike warning over this weekend. The Nifty and Sensex down by over 1% today. The Sensex down by 861 points. The Nifty falling by 246 points. The rupee also weakened to an all-time low of 80 rupees 15 paise to the dollar during the day. It ended just below 80 rupees as the dollar touched another high today. Let's look at the other big political stories. Well, ex-Congress leader and veteran Ghulam Nabi Azad spoke to NDTV, where he said that he looked at why exactly he left the Congress and talked about how Sonia Gandhi had looked away, as what he said was that Rahul Gandhi had really ruined the party, saying that Sonia Gandhi, like all mothers, had a weakness for their children.
Rahul was allowed to do pretty much, as you said, all of them.
All mothers are like that.
What do you mean? You're saying that this is a mother's weakness, that she didn't intervene?
All mothers have, maybe my mother, your mother, weakness for their children.
So let's just go across to what's happening otherwise. Well, the Arvind Kejriwal versus BJP battle now seems to be like a countdown to 2024. Today, Arvind Kejriwal said there'll be a confidence vote which began today in the assembly, even though there's no threat current to his government. But he said not one of the AAP MLAs are for sale. Meanwhile, the BJP president JP Nadda attacked Arvind Kejriwal while he was in a rally in Tripura, and the BJP unveiled what they said was a fresh school scam. This as AAP MLAs are now attacking the lieutenant governor.
आप जवाब दीजिए उन एजेंसीज को जो इन्होंने प्रश्न किया है दिल्ली में आके टाइटा फेस हो गया
2 alleged scams and a trust vote. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal called the trust vote to make the claim that the BJP had failed to split the Delhi government.
इन्होंने पूरी कोशिश करी 20-20 करोड़ रुपए के अंदर हमारे एमएलए खरीदने की कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन से हम ये साबित करेंगे दिल्ली की जनता को कि एक भी एमएलए नहीं बिका कोई नहीं बिका एक भी नहीं बिका
The clash between the Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi and the BJP at the centre escalated with the BJP chief weighing in.
अरे भाई प्रदेश को घाटा हो गया इतना बड़ा घोटाला हो गया आंकड़ों सहित सबने रख दिया तू इधर उधर की बात न कर तू ये बता कि कारवा लुटा तो लुटा ये बताओ ना आप why are you diverting from it?
His colleagues in Delhi opened a new front, alleging a scam in schools, hiked costs for construction and toilets being passed off as classrooms. Kejriwal's Aam Aadmi Party projects Delhi schools as a global success story and a core election plank in Gujarat, which is the Prime Minister's home state.
कंस्ट्रक्शन कॉस्ट को करीब करीब 50 से 90% तक बढ़ाया गया। ये चिंता का विषय इसलिए है क्योंकि सीवीसी ने रिपोर्ट जिसमें यह स्पष्ट था कि घोटाला हुआ है, बड़ा घोटाला हुआ है, भेजी दिल्ली सरकार के जो विजिलेंस के सेक्रेटरी हैं उन्हें और 2.5 साल पहले।
Across the country, 1,400 crore khadi scam is what the Aam Aadmi Party is alleging, and they demand a resignation, a CBI probe and Mr. V.K. Saxena to be named in the CBI FIR in this case.
The cashiers, 2 of the cashiers said that under duress from the chairman, they were ordered to launder the old notes and give new notes instead. So a clear-cut case of black money being converted into a white, a clear-cut case of money laundering.
The BJP has rejected Aam Aadmi Party's Khadi scam charge and the Aam Aadmi Party has rejected BJP's school scam charge. Tuesday will see day 2 of the trust vote. At 62 versus 8, the focus is more likely to be on scoring political points inside and outside the assembly. In New Delhi with camera person Joseph, Priyanshi Sharma for NDTV.
Well, let's just look at the national headlines. In Uttar Pradesh, a young child who had been kidnapped from a railway station in Mathura has been found at the residence of a BJP corporator. The child was apparently sold for 2 lakh rupees.
A 7-month-old child kidnapped last week from a platform at the Mathura railway station has been recovered from the house of a BJP corporator and her husband 100 kilometers away. Both have been arrested. The police have also arrested 2 doctors who they say are the masterminds of a child trafficking syndicate and sold children for money. The kidnapper, caught on CCTV, is also under arrest. In a statement, the police said the BJP corporator and her husband allegedly purchased the child from the doctors. Footage of the incident from the night of August 23rd shows a man appearing to pass by the child who is sleeping with his mother. Moments later, he comes back and scoops the child up and runs.
Every parent's nightmare there. Luckily, the child has been recovered. But now moving to Mumbai, where a special report is on why pediatricians are warning parents and schools to watch out for the hand-foot-mouth disease, but now also worries over tomato flu.
This 8-month-old baby girl being examined by doctors at a Mumbai hospital for tomato flu, a rare viral disease that causes fever and big red rashes or blisters in children below 5. The first case in India was reported in May this year in Kerala. OPDs across Mumbai hospitals have seen a rush in the last 2 weeks of parents bringing in their kids with similar symptoms.
She is 8 months old, तो उनका अभी 3-4 days से थोड़ा rashes हुआ है. Okay, so fever तो नहीं है अभी, but उनका खाने का intake थोड़ा कम हो गया.
और ये rash specific area तो body में आता है, mainly on the palm, soles, knees, buttocks and inside the mouth. ये rash थोड़ा painful होने के कारण उसमें बच्चे थोड़े चिड़चिड़े होते हैं और कम खाते हैं. और इस तरह का आउटब्रेक लास्ट 1 मंथ से हम देख रहे हैं.
Tomato fever is similar to the hand, foot and mouth disease or HFMD that affects children below the age of 10 years. Doctors in Mumbai say cases so far are not serious, but it's taking between a week to 10 days for children to recover. Doctors say the disease is highly contagious and to break the cycle of infection, a sick child should not come in contact with other children till the rashes dry up. With Pooja Bhardwaj in Mumbai, Sara Khan for NDTV.
Moving to other special report from Noida in Uttar Pradesh, a day after the demolition of the Twin Towers or Corruption Towers as they're now being called. Now, of course, the big worry was over the dust and what the aftermath would be. But the good news is that so far the air quality seems to be in normal range.
The aftermath of India's biggest demolition. Residents of Noida's Emerald Court returned home to a mountain of debris left behind after the 103-meter tall twin towers were razed to the ground. While residents in this neighborhood seemed largely satisfied with the way the demolition was executed,
not even an inch was displaced from our house.
No damage as such?
No damage, not at all.
A mega cleanup of roads and society compounds is the next big challenge.
कितने लोग यहाँ पर लगभग डिप्लॉय किए गए?
हम यहाँ पे 20-25 लोग हैं।
नहीं, ये 20-25 की मतलब टीमें आई हैं, बाकी यहाँ पे कम से कम 100 कर्मचारी यहाँ पे इस टाइम अवेलेबल हैं। हाँ, जो यहाँ पे सिर्फ और सिर्फ यहाँ पे सिर्फ क्लीनिंग के लिए।
नोएडा अथॉरिटी के
अथॉरिटी की तरफ से।
In a meeting had told us that edifice had told that they are going to break and then remove, which we don't want, because we have suffered enough in terms of pollution. We want that they just pick up with the big cranes here, the entire chunks, take them in big lorries, break them wherever they want, but not in this location anymore.
Top officials of demolition teams surveyed the neighbouring societies as they gear up for the prolonged task of disposing of the nearly 5,000 trucks of construction rubble left behind.
Well, you have to do some secondary breakage just to handle this. The steel reinforcement hooks everything together, so it's actually almost impossible to move it as it is.
So won't that lead to more pollution for...
well, I think they'll be using lots of water to allay the dust along the way.
So approximately how much time will you take to dispose of the entire debris?
They're looking at 3 months.
The corruption towers have been brought down. The residents here are celebrating it as a legal victory and as a huge political message being sent out to the alleged nexus between government, corporates and builders. But the biggest challenge right now remains disposing of this mountain of debris right behind me. For the residents here, there is still time for life to return to complete normalcy. In Noida with camera person Kanan Patra, Vedant for NDTV.